Hello and welcome back to another episode. Now today I want to talk a little bit about why I'm yet to throw my hat in the ring with the current generation of consoles. I don't own an Xbox One, a PlayStation 4 or even a Wii U, and I'm a huge fan of Nintendo. And there are reasons for this. Some of these reasons, or all of them really, are regrettable, but I think that they're good reasons. And until certain things change, I don't think I will be getting a current generation console. Now, while I talk about this, I'm going to be playing this amazing game. It's called State of Decay. I downloaded it on the Xbox Live Arcade. And it's brilliant. It's everything I've always wanted from a zombie game. You know, you've got resource management, exploration, you've got setting up a base and trying to maintain that base. Almost that sort of Max Brooks sort of sense of zombies. That sort of idea that you can survive in this world. It's not just about shooting zombies. It's about actually creating a bit of a new life for yourself in the zombie apocalypse. Anyway, I'm not just here to talk about or review this game. It's very good. I highly recommend it. But like I say, the reason why I wanted to make this video is just to talk about what's going on with gaming at the moment and why I'm not engaged with the current consoles. The reason's very simple. The reasons are very simple. First of all, I don't think that there's been that much of an upgrade in terms of the quality of the games. I think for example, the graphics of Second Son on the PlayStation 4 are very impressive. But in terms of the quality of the game, it's still essentially a PlayStation 3 game, just with a veneer over the top, a really pretty veneer, granted, but it's just not that much of a change. And there's been lots of similar sort of situations. I mean, for example, Assassin's Creed Unity, I'll come back to that in more detail in a moment, but with that, it's not as good as it should have been, or could be, or is marketed as, and therefore I just don't feel a need to rush into this new console generation. There's nothing that's really impressed me yet. The second reason is, and I've already hinted at this, is hype. Far too many games are just overhyped. Watch Dogs, I think, was massively overhyped, partly because of just the marketing machine that surrounds games like that these days. But for example, the graphical downgrade that they gave the game artificially to create a parity between PC and consoles is just a really shady practice, and I'm not sure I want to be part of that or encourage it by buying those particular products. The relationship between what we're told a game will have and what the game will be like is becoming so abstract as to be meaningless. So I'm a huge fan of the Assassin's Creed franchise, but I'm yet to get a console that can play Assassin's Creed Unity, even though it looked really good. All the trailers said the next generation starts here, or next gen starts here, and that's been a colossal letdown, a colossal fuck up, basically. The game breaking bugs, the bizarre nature of for example, in the cutscenes, skin disappearing, this kind of thing. It's just not good. They're unfinished games, and you just didn't get quite so much of that with the previous generation. Sure, okay, I'm a huge fan of Skyrim. Okay, I love the Skyrim games, and also the Skyrim game, the Elder Scrolls games. I also love the Fallout games, Fallout 3, for example. And yes, Bethesda are known for releasing slightly buggy games that need patching, but they're fundamentally done. You know, they're playable and they're beautiful and they work. They're complex, and that's why they need patching. But you could play the game. You know, it wasn't just a half-assed, almost unplayable game. And that seems to be what's happening with the 8th generation at the moment. It's disappointing. And I suppose I haven't got the money to waste on being disappointed. I want to really get into and love my console, and that's what I'm doing at the moment with my Xbox, and also going backwards with my Dreamcast and with the Wii and with the N64 and Mega Drive, I'm just getting back into playing and loving games which deserve more attention. So, for example, I'm being a completionist on Skyrim. I'm really getting my money's worth out of that, rather than going and getting a game which doesn't work. Finally, I mean, with those two things to one side, and they're very important things, finally, it's the community. The console wars, as it were, these artificial console wars, I have to say, have been so off-putting to me. The way that people talk to each other based on which console they happen to have is terrible. You know, people call each other things like Sony ponies. And,
are you okay?
oh,
You mean aside from being lost in the woods, attacked by psychopaths, and watching two of my best friends die? Yeah, I'm peachy.
Sorry I asked.
So, is it this bad everywhere?
Man, I hope not. We got some survivors back at the ranger station that seem to know what's going on. But we didn't have time for orientation.
Well then, let's get the hell back there.
Love the idea, but we got kind of volunteered to check a couple other places for survivors first.
Just think of it as payback for the time that you volunteered us for the running of the bulls in Pamplona.
Okay then. You want to take point, or should I?
sorry, yes. The way that people abuse each other online these days, based on an arbitrary choice of a console, essentially loyalty to a brand, I find that incredibly off-putting. I happen to have an Xbox 360, but this was my first Xbox. I was actually highly skeptical of the original Xbox. That's not because I was going, oh, Xbox and Microsoft. It's more just because, you know, I'm a bit old school, and I thought, well, Nintendo and Sega, they know what they're doing. Does Microsoft know what they're doing? Did Sony know what they were doing when the PlayStation came along? That's the kind of way that I tended to think. But I love the console. I haven't bought the Xbox because I love Microsoft. But there are people who are just so vicious based on this this console war, so-called. It's not the same as that old school Sega versus Nintendo, you know, Sega does what Nintendo don't, that kind of thing. It's just arbitrary, and that's the point. It's just people choosing. I choose this particular brand, and therefore I'm going to be horrible to everyone who doesn't. I'm going to assume that they're stupid because they don't like Sony or they don't like Microsoft. And again, I'm not sure I want to buy into that. Why would I voluntarily get involved in such vicious communities? And I don't like feeling this way about a new console generation. This is the first console generation when I haven't wanted to get involved. Sure, I was late to the party in the past. When I was a kid, we couldn't necessarily afford just to get the next generation. So the N64, or for example the Sega Dreamcast or whatever, these things had to wait. But I wanted them. I really wanted to be involved. And I feel kind of sad that this is the first generation when I don't want to be involved. And I'm not quite sure when that's going to change. I hoped it would change when Assassin's Creed came out. I was really hoping that Assassin's Creed Unity would be the excuse I needed to go and get an Xbox or a PlayStation. I was really hoping that that the Wii U would be more exciting than it is. Sure, it's got some great games on it. Mario Kart 8 looks amazing. Super Smash Bros. Looks incredible. But the multiplayers just aren't there. I'm just not as interested in that console as I have been in other Nintendo consoles. I think there's something wrong at the moment, and it's really hard actually to put your finger on what is wrong, but I suspect it's a combination of the things that I've just been talking about. Quality control, the communities, and also originality. I'm not convinced that the computer game industry has originality. It does in terms of indie developers, and here's a prime example of that. This game is absolutely brilliant, and it's very original. But it's not. This is a rare example where originality has sort of risen to the top. It's got support now from, for example, the guys at Xbox Live. But it's hard to find something of high quality these days, and I really, mourn that. I really regret the fact. So that's basically the world in which I find myself, frustrated and disappointed but at the same time desperate to be impressed. I want the next generation of consoles, but so far I just don't. I don't know, what do you think, guys? What's your opinion on this? Are you happy with the state of affairs? Do you think actually that people who are holding back should get involved rather than just complaining from the sidelines? Make it better from within, make the community stronger by being present? Or are you like me? Are you holding back and just thinking, actually, no, I'm not sure I want part of this? It's on almost every level less than it should be, less than it promises, and far more hassle than frankly I want. I don't want this much vicious and cynical communication between gamers. I don't want people having arguments based on what console they've got. I'm here for the games. I want to play good games, and I want to share good games. And at the moment, it just doesn't feel that that's quite the way things are going. And I don't know, what do you think? Anyway, as ever, guys, until next time, do take care. Bye bye.